Hi, I'm Angified. I started Angified Presents.
We share the love of music.
It has been medicine and therapy. Nothing else worked.
It has saved many of us. With mental health, we need to open our eyes.
Hurt people hurt people.
We ask that you listen, comprehend, and relate with your ears.
Form that heart of unity and one.
We share on this stage.
Statistics, feelings.
And ourselves.
We stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
We all may be different, with opinions and beliefs.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters.
We are family.
We ask that you join us in a magical journey with artists from around the world. Open your minds, let in the love,
and listen with your hearts.
We all want a better tomorrow. Be one.
Communicate and look out for one another. And then, and only then, will you find the world.
We will find peace in all the world.
You'll find the world. And you will find in this shining world heroes among us and every boy and girl. Many have been broken, red hearts turn black. Love will melt the ice and turn it back, and you will find the world. You will find the world. You will find the world. And when you find a place called home, where everyone is free to roam, a whole new world, a better place for our children's futures at stake. And you'll find with music in your soul, laughter in your hearts, together we can grow a better place with love in our soul. And you will find together we can save it all. And you will find a place called home, where
Rawr.
We cover digital, audio, workstation, and music tools. We explore theory, gear in 82. How to write and compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac, and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and sys that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin' IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much rap. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking IT. We're talking IT. Every Thursday night on Angified.
There, now I can see you.
You can see me. I can see you. And we're in the new place.
I
New
can
studio.
see.
Mhm. Still some changes for decoration and all that need to be made, but for now, this will do.
Oh, it's
This will
looking cozy.
Thank you.
You're settling in.
Got my drums right here. Got my keys back here. Got my bass, my guitar right next to me. So I've got an acoustic I can reach. So everything's all right where it needs to be.
All the essentials, and there's a cup of coffee to his side.
Cheers.
See?
Never far from that, for sure.
Well, tonight's episode was inevitably gonna end up happening.
Yeah.
We've spent years talking about it, especially me and Ange, when it comes to, our channels and how important our YouTube channels are in what we do, and the scary world we live in where there's a 3-strike policy that goes on with YouTube that you really need to know what's up. You need to be careful what you do, and anybody who just kind of shrugs their shoulders to it will probably end up in the same kind of situation that I'm now dealing with. And I wish I didn't have to cover this through real world experience, but it's something important to learn, and I guess I'm learning in real time now. As you know, my YouTube channel, the Tony Dumont one, my personal YouTube channel, I've had since 2009. It's where all my subscriptions are. It's where all my correspondence with other channels on YouTube. It's where I do it. 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago on Wednesday, I went to log into my YouTube and got your channel has been terminated screen. And that sickening feeling you get when you see police lights behind you or something?
Oh, I know that feeling. Yeah.
I had the same gut feeling when I saw that. I'm like, oh my God. And why? What confused me is I haven't uploaded a video to that channel since 2004, the beginning of 2004. So I'm like, what could I possibly be getting struck for? I haven't uploaded anything in over 2 years. So I went through the rabbit hole, got my details together. You'll be proud of me. I didn't overreact and go jump on and start sending nasty letters to people. I learned about what I'm dealing with. I learned about who I'm getting strikes from. And tonight we're going to go over that. I'm going to explain what did happen, but we're also going to look at some important videos, some things I found along the way to kind of help get some advice, to help understand some of the landscape that's going on out there when it does come to copyright and copyright strikes. Not all songs are created equal when it comes to this. So, important message tonight is there's no way to totally know whether you're doing something wrong or not until you do it wrong, until you do it and get slapped.
not only that, but you might not even know until years later is what you just found out. So, you know, something that you did years ago that seemed fine, and all of a sudden it was fine for years, but now it's not so fine.
That's what you're going to see when we go through the timeline. Here, let's jump to the IT cave. And now I'm supposed to be here. and I'll show you the videos we're going to be looking at. And then we're going to look at the first two before I get into the details, just so that we can understand what we're really dealing with here. And the most important thing that we're dealing with here is the DMCA. The DMCA is the reason why things like this are happening nowadays, and it's legislation that came out in '98 that was designed to combat piracy and people just putting up whatever they want all over the internet. They created a mechanism from which artists and rights holders could do something about this piracy that goes on. And piracy is the main reason for it. Unfortunately, good intentions do not always pave a better YouTube. So as we go through this, we're going to see what's good about this and what's being abused now because of it. And before I get started, I want to say I'm not blaming. I'm not blaming YouTube. I'm not blaming these artists. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just trying to understand what all this is and where there's potential problems and where things are in the right. And I don't think that the artist that gave me the strikes, which I know it's not the artist directly, it's their liaisons. I don't think they're the ones that are directly like going after any of us. And I don't even take any of this personal because I don't think YouTube or the artists we're going to be talking about give a shit about my personal YouTube channel. I have 150 followers. I use it to actually watch YouTube videos, not really to upload videos anymore. I had all my original music on there. In 2019, I started karaoke therapy. I wanted to help people to learn songs and find a way to emotionally use, like, doing a song as emotional release. And that was the whole purpose of my karaoke therapy. I did thousands,
Literally
3,000 or more songs covering thousands of artists and bands. Never had a problem until 2023. And the problems that I had, as you're going to see, are very specific, coming from very specific artists and specific groups who do these takedowns. So some of these names are going to sound familiar, some are going to be new, and we'll get into all of that. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple of videos before we get into those details. The first one is just about what is a DMCA takedown and a guide to it. And for this one, Jeff don't do it yourself. He provides a service for artists to go and find where their material is being used, and to go after people who are infringing or putting up material that the artist does not want up there. And that's going to be a key here. It doesn't matter if technically fair use and covering a song is not against the law. We can agree on that because there's 2,999 songs that I didn't break a law. But the ones that I do have to deal with, the artists own the rights to their music. So how they deal with this is different than when you're technically dealing with a Sony or a Universal, and even Sony and Universal will go after you for certain artists and certain material because they feel that these particular songs are no-nos. And you're going to hear a common theme on no, don't do this.
Yeah. Cautionary tale.
Yeah. So we're just going to take a quick look at what is a DMCA takedown and a complete guide to it. And then afterwards, I'm going to go right into this one from Eric DeLuca because it's short. It's only a minute, but it answers some of the question that I was like, I know a couple of the artists I'm not supposed to do because I've learned the hard way. But there's a lot of people out there who have also learned the hard way. And there's at least a small list that if you are covering songs out there, even if you're not putting them on YouTube, even on other sites, these are going to be the problematic ones. You're likely to run into problems. Surprisingly, I've covered all of these. I've only had a strike from 2 of them, and thank God it's only been 2, because if they'd gone after all my other covers, I could have got nailed with like 10 strikes at once for all these bands. And
that's 3 channels that can shut down of yours.
Yeah, and one thing, if I do manage to get my YouTube account back, and fingers crossed, I hope I do, I'm removing all my covers. Not just the ones that are problematic. I'm removing all of them, and it's possible I might just remove my entire BandLab library because I don't need this aggravation, and I don't know if 5 years from now any new artist who gets the rights to their song and decides now I'm going to start striking people, I don't know which ones are safe and which ones are not. And to play it safe, I'm taking Angie's advice and saying no cover policy. That's how we deal with it on Angified Presents. That's how we've dealt with it here with our channel. It's just the safer way to not possibly lose your YouTube channel.
And the sad thing is that all of those covers, if you do remove them from BandLab, anybody who forked any of those, that's all gone, right? At that point?
No, strangely enough with BandLab, even when I've had projects removed, because BandLab's done a couple of them to me, the forks don't disappear. So I don't get it, but yeah. I got my project taken down on BandLab, but the people who forked it still have their forks up. Irony.
Okay.
So after we do that, I'm going to go into the details before we go into this one, because Rick actually plays into some of the things I'm going to show you as I go through my strikes. And he's one of the champions on the other side of this when it comes to like how a YouTube channel fairly uses material for teaching, for history education in music. It's kind of hard to talk about music when you can't talk about it, you can't show it. And Rick has been around on YouTube well over a decade, providing great information, great history, music lessons. everything that's awesome about YouTube when it comes to I want to learn how to make music. And he got nailed hard all at once from multiple directions. So we're going to look at an excerpt of this video and the part where he describes, what happened to him and how he went about dealing with it. And I feel a lot like him. I've taken the kind of approach at this point that he suggests, and I'm glad that I didn't jump the gun.
Mhm.
I really did want to get some advice from the YouTubers who have dealt with this.
Mhm. Yeah.
And also for advice, some of the people in the Zoom, when they first heard that I got this and what was going on, they were like, "Well, go to Miss Crystal," because this would be a great place to get advice. I wouldn't bother her with my situation. She's already inundated with YouTubers who are dealing with the same thing, and she does address these things really well. And this one, kind of a necessity tonight on, how to remove your copyright strikes. Her, she does a great job of explaining what you're dealing with and how to deal with it.
Absolutely.
And for the last one, had to sneak this one in because of all the things I was searching, I was finding people who got strikes and basically doing the same thing I'm doing now. Like, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to try to figure out why I got these strikes. But Soundtricks actually does provide an interesting trick here. And it's a service that if you are going to continue to do covers and you're wondering, is this going to be a safe cover or is this not going to be? He's going to show a way that you can at least get your ducks in a row before you decide to go covering the song and putting it up anywhere on the internet.
Yeah. Good to be aware.
Yeah. And this one's a freshie channel. I'm surprised that Soundtricks, you would have figured we would have come across them like with all our other topics. I wish I didn't have to come here for this one, but I'm glad that I did.
Yeah. All right.
So to start, I want to take a look at what is a DMCA. What is the DMCA? And, when you get a takedown, which is what I've got here, why do you get these takedowns? Now, this is coming from an advocate for the DMCA. And straight up, I'm not against DMCA. I think it serves a purpose. And I want to see it work. But in order for it to work, we've got to figure out where there's abuse of it and where there's legit reasons for it. And tonight we're going to look at some of that.
All right.
So let's learn what a DMCA takedown is.
If you're like me, you heard DMCA takedown and assumed it was some mysteriously named wrestling move. Unfortunately, we'd both be wrong. So what is a DMCA takedown and how is it done? What does DMCA mean? The DMCA, or Digital Millennium Copyright Act, is a U.S. copyright law amendment addressing how copyright applies to online content. The three main updates were protections for online service providers, which allows for owners to inform service providers of infringing content, legal protections for digital works to safeguard against hacking passwords or circumventing encryption, and banning false copyright information, which may prevent false takedowns. What does DMCA protected mean? DMCA protected means that the creator's content is protected by the DMCA copyright law from being stolen or infringed upon. This includes online media like articles, photographs, videos, OnlyFans content, online courses, artwork, audio, or music files, software, and more. As of now, it does not apply to AI-generated content. What is a DMCA takedown and what does it do? A DMCA takedown refers to when content is removed from a website or internet platform at the request of the owner of the content. It lets a site owner know that what they're doing is illegal, that you are the original owner of the stolen content, and that you're aware they've stolen your content. It implies a threat of further action if the site owner doesn't remove the stolen content ASAP. In theory, it gets your stolen content removed from infringing sites and reinforces your ownership of your original content as a creator. Usually this comes in the form of a cease and desist sent straight to the site owner. How to file a DMCA takedown notice. Now for the how. 1. Gather your evidence. Time to get your receipts together. Take screenshots of everything you can, including any behind-the-scenes footage of the creation process of the content. These will prove that you're the creator and owner of the content. Take screenshots of every site where you find your stolen content distributed online. Gather the URLs of all the infringing sites. Get as much evidence with timestamps as possible to show that the content was in your possession before it was shared elsewhere. 2. Contact the site owner. Got your receipts? Reach out to the site owner or the site's DMCA agent directly. Here's a template to get you started. Ideally, this is all you need to do, and the site owner will remove the content. Unfortunately, many site owners will not respond to this, and you'll need to go over their heads to the hosting provider. 3. Contact the hosting provider. If they don't respond, submit your complaint to the hosting provider. Popular hosting providers include Facebook, GoDaddy, and Squarespace, among others. The service provider should be able to get the content taken down as long as you provide all the necessary information. 4. Include the necessary information. DMCA law requires that you have the following information in your complaint: your signature, identification, and location of infringing content, your contact info, a statement of good faith and accuracy. 5. Escalate if necessary. If you've tried everything to no avail, you may be forced to take legal action. This could mean hiring a lawyer who specializes in copyright law and suing the offending party. Alternatives to performing a DMCA takedown. Why go through the hassle when you can rely on a professional service like ours? We specialize in DMCA takedowns, ensuring your content is protected swiftly and efficiently. Our comprehensive service handles everything from evidence gathering to contacting the site owner and hosting provider and getting the listing removed from search engines. We offer transparent pricing options to suit your needs, whether you're looking for a one-time solution or ongoing protection. Let us take the burden off your shoulders so you can focus on creating while we protect your digital assets. Check out the link in the description below for more information. Is a DMCA takedown effective? A DMCA takedown can be effective if done correctly and with all the necessary information included. So there you have it. A DMCA takedown is a free and fairly easy way to protect your online content.
Damn, they were really effective when it came to mine.
Oh, just like that.
Yeah. Well, this one came from @DDIY Reviews. He's don't do it yourself. Sometimes you do need to get help. And for artists out there who do want to protect their material, which, this is a real thing for artists and content creators, photographers, movie, we've done a lot of different things, and you do want to be able to protect and secure your content. And these kinds of services, there are some out there. as I've gone through my research, I found a few of them. Some of them are the ones that struck me. But at the same time, these services are valid, and hopefully they're doing their due diligence when they are doing the striking. They're not like strongholding, or is that the proper word?
Strong arming.
Like shakedowns. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't just go after everybody blindly. You gotta look at situations for what they are, and this is why Rick Beato is included tonight, because when it comes to special situations, and they do make exceptions in special situations, it's important that you know if you're one in that special situation, or you actually are stealing. And when they use that phrase, it makes me want to cringe a little bit. Like, I'm not stealing because I covered a song, but I understand when they say you can't put that online. So being as fair and balanced about it as I can. And thank you, Jeff, for showing it to me from that side, because I do want to understand it from both sides here.
Yeah, it's important. And that's the thing is, understanding that there are rights to protect the rights holders. So, I mean, we get that, and it's important. But at the same time, there should be room for education and fair use and all that. So we try to make sure we can understand both sides.
Yeah, I am an artist, so I respect what this is and what it means. And the DMCA, I mean, from the day it came out, I was like, I get why we had to add this into legislation. We were going into the age of the internet at that point, and the only real problem I have with it is I feel it was a little ahead of its time. This was before YouTube really took off, before there was a Facebook. I mean, people were getting mail from AOL back then, and there wasn't a hell of a lot of content creators doing things. Everything going on then was piracy, and it was
that is one of the
created
things
to deal with that.
That is one of the things that it is rare for the legislation to actually be on time or ahead of problems, whereas in this case it seems like they really had to, because they realized they were just going in, we were headed into the Wild West, and they needed to set up some kind of framework, even if it needed adjustment later, to get something happening.
Oh, it's gonna, and as you're gonna see, it's gonna need some adjustment. So hopefully by 2028, 30 years later, they'll review what they thought in 98, and I hope that the Congress will bring in experts and hear from all sides there, and adjust some of these DMCA regulations to fit in the 21st century, because it was written in the 20th.
They just mentioned a little footnote there, which was that AI is not included in that yet. But that might be a footnote now, but like in 5 minutes, that's going to be a major thing. So that's
if there's any compelling reason for them to update it, AI is going to be the reason. AI is going to instigate them to have to update it, because
they got to get ahead of it.
This didn't exist when they made the laws.
Yeah, well, and it's just so easy right now for anybody to just make a channel, in any style. If you have a particular band that you like, you could make a YouTube channel making AI songs of that style that's out there, and people will watch it, and a lot of people won't even realize, like, they'll be getting it fed to them because it's coming up from the algorithm. They're not even realizing that it's not even real stuff.
And what makes it scary when it comes to the ones who are doing the takedowns, especially with YouTube, it's very easy for them to get a takedown from YouTube. However, if you do a false takedown, you can get screwed by YouTube as much as who you're trying to get taken down.
Yeah. And that's why a false takedown is one thing, but if it's just a takedown, that you're asking for, whether it's valid or not, it's, it is, if as long as you have a legitimate, claim, that's the main thing. Like you're talking about somebody who doesn't even have a claim to the music, saying,
like he mentioned in the video, make sure you have your ducks in a row, have screenshots and everything to prove your argument, which on the other side, I've got mine tonight, but when it comes to striking over on YouTube, they take certain ones more serious than others. So Universal doesn't need to explain themselves to YouTube. Sony doesn't need to explain. If they say to YouTube, this no, YouTube doesn't even check anything. They will listen to certain takedowns with no questions asked. And some of the ones that I'm dealing with are those kinds of forces that will not get questioned by YouTube. Even if I do convince YouTube that I did do this for fair use and I didn't do anything wrong, even if I get my account back, that's not going to change YouTube's attitude about UMG or this web sheriff that we're going to be talking about. They will continue to take strikes from them and not punish them for any miscalculations. And I don't know how I feel about that. I know I have to accept it, but leaves kind of a bad taste in my mouth if there's a million people that got taken down wrongly from a big company like that. I think YouTube should at least have a conversation with them about, like, you're making us do a bunch of work we don't want to do.
The problem is that with those, let's say it was a million that got takedowns, of those million takedowns, some of those would be valid, right? So like the ones that are valid, that's, money coming in as far as what they're looking at. They're seeing that as revenue that's actually showing up. So to them, even if it only, even if it's a very small turnover rate, if it turns over any of them to become, monetary gain, then it's worth it. So
well, my channel wasn't monetized and I've never made a penny off of music.
And that's why again, it's not the, it's not the artist sitting there with his finger on the button like, oh, there's Tony's channel, bam, got him. That's not the way that works. It's just the algorithm caught it at this point. That's all.
Yeah. Well, and the ones that are the problematic ones, this one's a shorty, but it's an important one. And I got the most important screen up there right now because when I saw it, some of them surprised me here. They're so popular and there's so many people. I mean, Led Zeppelin, like, this is my childhood. Like, I covered every single Led Zeppelin song from 1 to 4 because I wanted to learn them. And same with the Cars. I wish I could have covered more Jimmy, but trying to do guitar on keyboards is
you need the real guitar part for that, for sure.
Yeah, but this one's a useful one for me just for this list. And Eric DeLuca at Eric DeLuca Music One, thankfully provides us with a nice, quick. These are problematic, and people have reported problems with these. You see on his channel, he's covering a lot of this. So Eric, I will be back because I'm still doing research before I do my contesting to YouTube. I want to make sure I know what's going on out there, and this really does help.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so you've never had trouble with your channel till now. This video is just a reminder to all the people out there you will get a strike for a cover, tutorial, or maybe the humming of a melody of your favorite Eagles song. I'm even making sure this video will not even use anything related to imagery of the Eagles, since you just never know what may be used against you. So it happened about a year ago. 2 videos caused 2 strikes, but why would a band so successful even care? The truth is Don Henley is the face behind a lot of this and the music publishing company. Let me be clear, even though I fought the strike, I got nowhere. With that being said, you need to know there are other artists as well you should be aware of when it comes to worrying about copyright strikes. Artists like Fleetwood Mac, Supertramp, Bryan Adams, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, Guns N' Roses, Jimi Hendrix, and the Cars, just to name a few. So what can you do about it? Never cover the tunes from these artists. If you went under the radar, you got lucky. Eventually, though, you may get a strike. Has this been something you've experienced? Let us know, and let us know if your strike was removed.
Yes, this is something I've experienced.
Exactly.
And two of those names are what we're going to be talking about. And like I said, no offense to the artists here. I actually am very much in agreement with the mentality behind these two artists. We're going to talk about how they're approaching it a little bit, but I just want to say up front, what I'm going to talk about here and these artists is not like to slander anybody or criticize how they feel about this issue. I'm mostly in agreement with them on their feelings about artist rights. And the two that we're going to be looking at have very strong feelings about artist rights. One has gone in front of Congress to talk about it, and the other one has gone in front of a Canadian congressional committee from Ottawa to help try to fix how Canada deals with artists' rights. And I really do believe like what he's fighting for and championing there is super important. Like I'm behind the fight there. One thing I will say about both of them, I think their intentions, if you go look at the testimony, which I'm not going to show any of that tonight because I can't take a chance on that, but what I realized is they're both very concerned about young artists. They're concerned about uh, how easy it is for the record companies and the big wigs to take from the artist's rights and hold them and control them. And a lot of young artists kind of get screwed coming into the industry. And especially in the case of Brian, I know that's one of his primary missions is to try to help young artists to not lose the valuable intellectual property that you're creating at that time. Yay, I got a record deal. Here's my soul and all my rights to my songs. Brian went through a very long, hard battle to get his material back. And to be fair, he really got screwed multiple times. There back in 2008, there was a fire in one of the record keeping buildings where his music was being held, and he lost the masters to a lot of his old music in a fire that they were responsible for like protecting this property. And ever since then he seems to have been, like I need my rights back and I need my masters and things. Good for him. I would have felt the same way if they went and said, "Oh, your masters got burned. Sorry, our bad."
That's where, I mean, to me, I mean, we've both worked in, network security and, been the guy handing off the box of tapes to get them off site. It's like we have the stuff in a box of tapes off site for a reason, because if there's a fire, that box of tapes is somewhere else. And when that box comes back, we can get that stuff back.
If you're talking stuff like this, that's technically worth millions in
Irreplaceable. I mean, yeah.
You put them in fire safe boxes, even
multiple
if there is
fire
a
safe,
fire, like
multiple fire safe
boxes
boxes
will not burn
on different locations.
Yeah.
On different locations.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
So now we're going to get into some of the nitty gritty here and what did happen for me. And I'm going to blow this up and we're going to tuck ourselves down here so that we can see it. Look, Glenn, I'm on TV.
All right.
So this is just a slideshow of the details to my strikes and what caused my channel to get terminated on the 17th. And this is my tube, YouTube. This is the one YouTube I've had since the beginning of YouTube. It's where I go to watch things. It's where I subscribe and I like, and I gotta say, it sucks watching YouTube right now, and I can't click the like button. I can't put a comment in anything, and I can't subscribe to something that I might want to check out more of. And Glenn, you know me. I find new channels every day. Like Ange throws all sorts of shit at me that like I want to subscribe.
Well, now you also have multiple personalities in terms of YouTube, so you
Well,
technically could
and
subscribe, just not
and
as you.
well, that's just it. My other Google accounts are tied to different business presence. So if I start YouTubing on our Talking IT YouTube, then when you're going to look at it and all those cool things that we see from our YouTube, you're gonna start seeing all the crap that I go through, and you're gonna be like, "No, I am not going down these conspiracy rabbit holes. I don't care what's going on with aliens, and no." So
Oh, sometimes
I'm
you
not
check
gonna
out also because
ruin
you're to
I'm
be
not gonna
informed about
ruin
these
my
things.
business YouTubes using it to do my personal YouTubing,
Mhm.
and I shouldn't have to.
Mhm.
This one is tied to my Tony R. Dumont at gmail.com. It's the only personal Google account I have, and it's been that way since 2002. So now that I've been terminated on YouTube, basically the rules are is I can never create another YouTube account with that Google account. So unless I get this fixed, my only personal Google account will never be able to interact with YouTube again. It's a forever strike, forever rule. And here's what happened. And we already know that, like, they say 3 strikes in 90 days. That's been, the norm, right? 90 days, don't get 3 strikes. Otherwise, you're in trouble. That's not what happened here. So, to start, this is what I saw when I logged in that Wednesday, the 17th. And I'm like, what's going on? Where's all my YouTube thumbnails? And seeing this doesn't really tell me much of anything. It just says my account got terminated. The verbiage alone sounds horrible. I got terminated. Like it's intimidating wording here.
You have been terminated.
Yeah, and what I can do is I can submit a counter notification. I'm working on that because I have to appeal to YouTube. It's my best chance of getting an appeal. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't consider it like a waste of time because then they'll just spank me harder. But um, the second option is to contact the claimants and ask them to retract the removal. And as you're going to see, 2 of these strikes are 2 to 3 years old, and the people I have to contact there likely couldn't remove the strike even if they wanted to at this point. It's that old. In the case of Universal, they've changed ownership. They're now owned by a different entity. So chances are me contacting them with no reference ID, nothing for them to go and check their strikes with YouTube. I don't even know how I would begin to ask them to take care of my first and second strikes because they're from 2023. But
Yeah, that's the other part is just the amount of time that goes by before this stuff becomes an issue.
yeah, well, that's why the third one, the one that did get my account terminated, is my only hope at contacting someone who, at least it's fresh. And I'd love an explanation for why something I did in 2021 has given me a strike in 2026. But here's the timeline to everything. So when I go to the details, it says, your channel was terminated on June 17th, 2026. Going through the 3 strikes that I got, the first one came in August 29th, 2023. That's one for the Eagles. No shocker. By this point, we both started to know Eagles songs. No. Uh, the whole internet knows that now. And anybody who didn't know that nowadays, like now you know. So if you do go and cover them and you put it up anywhere on the internet, Universal will go after you because Don is extremely fanatic about all takedowns. I'm going to show you in a second. So the song was The Last Resort. I did it for Thanksgiving in 2022, in 2021. So look at these dates. I did it in August 25th of 2021. It got removed on August 29th, 2023. One thing you're going to see with all these strikes, they're to the not right to the day, but they're within a week of when I published them. So published in August 2023, struck down 2 years later, or published in 2021, struck down in 2023. And when it comes to content used, each one of these, this information is important because it tells you why you got struck. But when it comes to the Eagles and how Universal, they don't need to explain anything. They're not explaining anything to YouTube. They're not explaining anything to me. Info available on request. I got no info on why it was taken down. I simply went and searched, and oh, yes, you do not cover songs by Don Henley. And that's that. I watched the video that YouTube says, oh, this is your first strike. Click here to go through our little video. Watch this little animation on what you can and can't do when it comes to copying or using material, and you take a quiz at the end and you answer the questions, you finish the quiz, and they're supposed to wipe that strike. It's supposed to not exist as long as you don't get another one within 90 days. And, that's a fair way to just like deal with a single strike and say, okay, now you learned, don't do this again. And we'll it, it's like committing a crime when you're under 16. Like your record is abolished after that if you take the quiz. I did. YouTube says I didn't. I did, and I've watched that video multiple times because of all the YouTube channels I deal with. So contacting UMG now, their different ownership, gonna be a waste of time. And when it comes to the Eagle songs, there's no questions or there's no excuse for it. They will not change their mind. And that's who I needed to contact. Content protection at umusic.com. I don't think that's the same email anymore because I did go to their site and look, and Universal's changing again. But I wanted to know what is up with this strike. So, learning more about Don Henley, fantastic musician, wrote so many great songs. It's hard not to want to cover some of them. Um, when you go look, even Wikipedia doesn't shy from his his um his feelings on artist rights and what he dealt with when he did go before Congress and talk about basically that the DMCA doesn't go far enough. His feelings is that it should be stricter, and it caused a little bit of a stir. So in 2020, he went before them to testify about the DMCA. He argued that it was outdated, and after he did that, all of YouTube was picking sides here and um, either agreeing with him if you're a artist holder or content holder, you're probably siding with his feelings there and saying, yes, it should be stricter. And my stuff should be protected. However, opposition to it was widespread amongst online content creators. Rick Beato specifically is the one that we're going to look at in a moment. And what he said, as far as Beato's uh, uh, opinion on it, was, when it comes to fair use and education, normally this is where like music and copyright tends to make exceptions, especially for educational outlets. And there's no denying that Rick is an educational channel. It's all about educating people in music. So Henley is known for taking down online content involving music for which he holds copyrights, doing so even when the content in question is considered fair use. He does not care. And Universal is happy to oblige him because he's the one who owns the rights to these songs that they're putting the strikes out for. So, you know, Beato said Henley has been responsible for manual takedowns of instructional videos teaching others how to play Eagles songs despite such educational material falling under fair use protection. So even though you got a legit argument, fair use can be a legit argument, not when it comes to these songs. It's important to understand that you are not going to change their mind when it comes to
They
him.
drew a line in the sand.
Yeah, and again, I respect I respect where he's coming from. I just question the authority and the sh- the way it's being dealt with. You can't just take a blanket kind of attitude like this with something that's so big. But that's who I'm supposed to contact now if I want to deal with that first strike that I got way back in August of 2023. And just to show you on the timeline, like how that strike worked, I published the song on August 25th, 2021. I got the strike on August 29th, 2023. So that's a big gap between when I put it up and when I got the strike. YouTube didn't say anything when I uploaded it. No complaints. Sat there for 2 years, and apparently somebody over at UMG eventually stumbled on my YouTube channel. Wow. I didn't even know I had somebody watching.
Somebody's watching you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't do that song either. So the second strike came later that year. August 29th, I got the strike for the Eagles. This one came at the end of the year, December 15th, right before Christmas. And go figure, this was a Christmas song that I was covering from Bryan Adams that I had covered the year before. So if you look at the published date, it's December 30th, the year before. Published it on 2022, December 30th, got the strike a year later on December 15th. And this one's a real interesting one. This isn't for music. So when you go to the content used part here, you see this little video camera icon? That's to show what I'm getting the strike for. This wasn't for playing the song, for covering the song. This was for using a picture from the music video, Brian playing in the snow. If you've ever seen the Christmas time video, it's pretty much just him playing guitar in the snow. And I used a single frame behind my overlay. It was a picture in the background on top of, Merry Christmas and giving him credit, Bryan Adams, Christmas time and karaoke therapy. Check out this and other songs that you want to learn how to sing. That's what my graphic was for the whole video. This strike was for using a single frame from the video. That's kind of hardcore. This isn't stealing a song. This is using a single frame in a video. very unusual. I went looking around YouTube to see who else has gotten strikes like this, and it's hard to find. Uh, this doesn't seem to happen often, but when I looked at who I need to contact here, and I wasn't familiar with these guys until all of this, YT at websheriff.com. And I'm like, what the hell is web sheriff? It's like sounds like there's internet cops nowadays, and I didn't shoot the deputy on this one. I just used a frame. At that time, I didn't even see this strike. It was Christmas time, 2023. I wasn't even using this YouTube to do videos at that point. So I didn't even see the message for this second strike from YouTube because I use my YouTube to actually go watch videos, my personal one. This just hid there at that point, and I stopped uploading any more songs or videos to this channel that January right after. So no more videos were ever uploaded to my channel after 2024. And with YT at websheriff.com, I went, looked at the website, um, searched to see, anybody else having problems with strikes, specifically with YouTube, with this particular service. And this is a service, just like that first video we watched. There are services out there who provide protection for um, artists. This is one of them. Now, here's a strange thing. When I was doing this research over the weekend, the site was working great. Monday night, trying to get more information, and all of a sudden, I'm getting page not found, and it didn't matter where I went, I was getting page not found. Strangely enough, tonight before the show, as I was getting ready to do things, I where are you? There we go.
Don't shoot the sheriff.
I won't. I won't. I just need to find my YouTube. Okay, we got moved. That's what happens. So when I logged on tonight, the site's back up, which I'm glad that it is because I didn't want to show like a page not found. That already was disconcerting to me. Like, damn, I'm gonna need to contact these guys. Their their page isn't even working right now. What's my chance of contacting them and getting any response? Well, I think even if I do contact them, this service, again, useful service. If you are an artist and you do want protection, these are companies that offer services for this. And if you look, music and video protection, movie and TV protection, YouTube optimization, they're consultants. They're also willing to go do these takedowns for the artists. And, depending on how you want to protect your content, you might want to check out them or one of the other companies that are providing these services if you really want to make sure nobody is using your material unauthorized. And here you will get that service. And what's kind of interesting here, when you go down to the bottom, and copyright photography appears by kind courtesy of Bryan Adams. And come to find out, Bryan is also a photographer. So again, Bryan, I love you even more because it turns out you're not just a great musician, you're also a photographer. Hey, I was too. Like, I relate with you, but I don't understand why I got a takedown for this second strike because of a picture from a video. It just seems like this strike should have never even happened in the first place. And I'm going to try to contact them. I'm hoping that what I'm talking about here tonight, like I can at least tell them you don't have to watch tonight's episode, but just know that I felt bad about getting these strikes, and I went and learned. Like, I didn't need YouTube to explain it to me. I went and learned on my own. I learned what Web Sheriff is. I learned what they're doing. Um, I hope maybe I can get them to fix this, but I'm not holding my breath.
Agreed.
So
Easy for them to strike it, but not so easy to get them taken down or get the
yeah.
strikes removed, I should say.
Yeah, and you're going to hear about that when we bring up the Rick video. But the timeline for this second strike, published on December 30th, 2022, struck on December 15th, 2023, second strike. 97 days between that August 29th strike and my second strike. So technically, I'm not in that 90-day window that should have caused any problems when it comes to YouTube. That's what they've been saying for years now. 90 days, you can't get 3 strikes. So, yay, I didn't do that. But this is where December 17th this year comes in. So, I went on YouTube, I saw this, and June 17th, 2026, third strike across 5 years, not 3 strikes in 90 days, just my third strike on this channel spread across all these years. Published on June 16th, 2021. So June 16th and June 17th on the strike. At this point, I'm curious, why are the anniversaries or the time around when I put these videos up, why somewheres years later on these days, very close to the original published dates, is this video getting attention from someone who decides to send me a strike? So I'm like, wow, Bryan Adams heaven. This is one of the best songs ever written. I'm a piano player, and of course, I'm going to cover this song because it's one of my favorite songs of all time. I did it as a request for a young singer who wanted to learn how to do the melody. And, with my instrumentals, I do the melodies so that can help them get their timing, get their pitch. This one was a request. Was happy to do it because I love the song.
Yeah, I love the melody. I love the melody line that you add for that too, because that does give you the option to, have the vocal timing and the vocal melody there for you, or you can have it out.
Yeah, and it did help her. It helped her with her timing. It helped her with her pitch. I'm glad to do that for people who want to learn. And when we look at the content used here, you see the musical note symbol. So just like the first strike, which the first strike wouldn't tell me it was the music, technically it just was Don Henley. It didn't matter if it was music or not. For this one, that little musical symbol says this strike was for covering the song. And look at content found in entire video. So my third strike was for covering the song. I didn't use any original recordings. I played the piano parts on my piano and I did the MIDI parts on my keyboard, rebuilt the whole song. But you cannot do this song anymore. And this one, you can go search YouTube and just search for I Got Struck for Heaven. You're going to find artists all over YouTube who, over the last 3 years, have had the same situation. And there is actually a reason for it. As I did my homework on Bryan, because I really needed to understand, um, and I'm really glad that I did. Bryan has gone through a lot in his musical career, and And in that time, like I said, he lost original recordings from a horrible fire back in 2008. He's been in front of the Canadian Congress to talk about artist rights, and I really wish I could show his testimony there because it's fantastic, and he's very good at explaining what he's fighting for. And just to be more specific, he wants to change the Canadian laws where it says that an artist, the rights go back to the artist 35 years after death. So you have to die and you have to wait 35 years before whoever's going to inherit your rights can get those rights back from the rights holders. So he went before and said, I'd just like to change one word. So instead of after death, after you actually make the song, after you create the song and the rights are created, he's advocating that the artists get the opportunity to get back their rights 35 years after the song was created, which is totally legit and fair. Brian, I'm behind you on that. Unfortunately, in Canada, that's how they do it there. The United States doesn't do it like that. It's a 25-year thing, and it's not after death in the United States. So yay, we're a little cooler when it comes to the legislation, but it's still a problem for artists to get their rights back, regardless, for a long period of time, because the rights holders really like to be the ones controlling this. And those companies that are the rights holders, their argument with all of this is that if the artists get their rights, they might go off and not deal with them responsibly. And the two we're looking at here, I'm not saying they're being irresponsible, but right now, if they're doing mass takedowns of anything that is theirs, because now they own it, yeah, I'm not saying I side with those content holder companies, but damn, I don't get any strikes for the ones that they're actually responsible for. I'm getting them from artists who actually do own their material, and God bless them. If they don't want me to do it, I won't do it. Just give me back my YouTube channel.
Yeah, it does seem a bit drastic, and that's one of those things. I mean, the policy was put in place for a reason to try to prevent problems and all of that, but it just seems like it is causing more problems now than it did then because of the over aggressive algorithms, jumping in on these things.
I think in some cases it's the ones who are going and doing the searching for them who are happy to be overly aggressive with it, and the artists are not likely saying, "Oh yeah, take them all down blindly." They're just not dealing with it. They're letting the enforcers do the work there. But I'm hoping that at least, Brian, take a look at this enforcement and ask yourself whether some of these people that are getting takedowns should be taken down. The ones that I found on YouTube, several of them did get their accounts back, and they got struck down because of heaven as well. So it seems like he might be more rational, and this is the one that I am going to definitely contact to try to explain my situation, because this is the one that caused my termination. It's a third strike, not in 90 days, but over the last 2 years. And I think I understand why I got them when I got them, because that strike in 2023 at the end of December that I got from the web sheriff on the picture, Brian in 2023 split with his manager of 44 years, instead choosing to self-manage his career. Cool. Awesome, Brian. You are now in charge of your career. I love that. And I hope more artists who have done as much as he has done get that kind of to that kind of level in their musical lifetime. He's now driving his career wheel.
Mm-hmm.
But during this split that year, rights to things. And in the case of his image, because that's what my second strike was, whatever was going on with his manager there, my strike at that time coincides with the time where he was going out on his own. And in August of 2024, he launched his own record label called Bad Records. And he doesn't make bad records. I think that's such a funny, ironic name. But now that he is in charge of his material there and it's under his own artist label, all the people that I'm talking about that got struck for heaven, including myself, it's been in the last 2 years. And there is correlation here to this happening and these things happening. And I don't doubt that now that he owns it, heaven, if he doesn't want anybody else to go to heaven, then he has the right to do that. I just hope he's going to listen to my appeal there and consider me not a thief, just a dumb YouTuber who did not know in 2021 that this was going to be a no song later. And I really hope he reconsiders it being a no song, because it would be a shame if the future generations can't hear the song. It's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
And, just to extend on what he did with his legislation here, it was back in 2018. He went before the Canadian House of Commons um, to talk about this artist rights. He had actually been talking with Justin Trudeau about it for years before that, saying, we've got to do something about Canadian artist rights. There's a lot of Canadian musicians out there. Half of BandLab is filled with them.
Mm-hmm.
So he went there 2018, and his core proposal was, as I said, under current Canadian law, creators who transfer or sign the rights to their work, typically to secure a record contract, which is what he was talking about. Like, I really want this record contract, but the only way I can get it is to give up my rights for until after I die, and then 25 years after their death in the case of Canada. So Adams argued this is unfair to younger artists. And like I said, he is trying to fix something where younger artists have been forever getting screwed from these things. And I commend him for what he's doing here. I just wish you didn't delete my account in the process, but that is the crux of his argument. He just wants to change one word in the Copyright Act, specifically from 25 years after death to 25 years after assignment. And I know the record companies and the labels and the rights holders don't like that idea, and they did oppose it, and they started bitching after he said that, just like Beato and the YouTubers did after Don Henley said the DMCA isn't being enforced enough. And just to point out the US comparison, he pointed out that Canadian laws were lagging behind that, where artists can legally recover copyright control after 35 years after signing. And that's where a dot connected in my head as to a lot of these artists that we're seeing, that list of ones that are, don't cover these, a lot of them are hitting that 35-year, getting their rights back. And if they choose to go this way and strike people who are covering their material and things like that, they have the right to. But they're going to get some feedback or some lashing back from some of these channels who are not doing anything wrong. And I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I didn't steal anything. I didn't make any money off of anything. Um, I hate feeling like a criminal for something that's not actually criminal. It's just their right to strike me. So for that timeline, this is the one that, like, anybody out there should look at this and question how you do a song, publish it in 2021, and get struck down with a strike 3 for it 5 years later. Lost my YouTube account after that.
No good.
And, looking at my 3 strikes, 2 in 2023, 1 in 2026. Technically, that is 3, but there's no 90-day involved here. And those 2 in 2023, just a side note, what were we going through in 2023? The writer's strike, the Hollywood strike. The whole year was filled with people striking for more money, and for the most part, they were doing it because of AI. But all these copyright strikes that were going on YouTube were also going on that year. All the ones that I'm looking at of people who were getting struck in the last 5 years, they all were dealing with that in 2023. It was an extremely problematic year if you were a YouTuber.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I don't think it's a coincidence. I do think it's all tied together. Now, to go back to which one? Back to here, because I do want to get to Rick's story. As far as the one who has at least kind of helped to combat some of these misstrikes, is what I would call them. And I think that's how he feels about them too. He legitimately can argue fair use. He's educating, and in most cases he's not playing the whole song, and it's all parts. And now we're going to get to this part. You know how Rick is when it comes to teaching. And for this one, I took an excerpt from the video because it is a long video, but I recommend everybody check out his story here, because a lot of the other YouTube channels who are dealing with this, they jumped all over this. You can find their feelings about what Rick went through and what he had to deal with. And thank God he did manage to get it fixed, but it was not a pleasant experience.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a listen to what happened to him and how he approached it, because this is the advice that I'm using right now to not go crazy and piss off YouTube even more with a giant page of ranting.
No rant.
I know tonight seems like a rant, but that was all details.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so my copyright strikes are both gone now. Now, some people think that I should deal with them a particular way, that which I never have done. I said it in the video that I haven't done any copyright disputes ever on the songs. And one of the reasons I don't do copyright disputes is that I have been a signed songwriter with a major publishing company really since 1992 or so. I was signed to Polygram Publishing, then I was with EMI Publishing, and I'm with Sony ATV, even though I don't write songs anymore, but theoretically I'm still signed to Sony ATV. It's just kind of a thing that I have about songwriters and using people's songs, that I just haven't claimed them. I know how to go through the claim thing, but the claim process, but I don't do it. The beef that I've had since the beginning of my channel is on blocking. What's up, Renzo? Has been on blocking. That's kind of been my stance that I've taken on YouTube, that I am anti-blocker. But people can block videos if they want to block videos, right? the thing is that I've never had to deal with a copyright strike situation. So you guys know I'm friends with I know we're all us YouTubers, music YouTubers are all friends, right? So I call up my friends that all have 1 million subscribers, right? And that have been doing this for a long time. You know who they are. I don't have to say, but I have a number of friends that, and I asked them, each one, have you ever gotten a strike? Some have been on YouTube. A couple have been on YouTube way over 10 years. And two of the people said, yes, one time it happened like this, right? Where they got a strike out of the blue. Usually with a strike, what happens is you get a copyright notice and then you dispute it, right? A content ID notice, then you dispute it. And if they rule against you, you can dispute it again. And then if you lose that second time, I guess, they give you a copyright strike. So here's the problem. If you get one strike, it takes 90 days for a strike to disappear on your account, right? If you get a second strike, I believe you can't live stream. Okay, so if I got 2 strikes. I didn't talk about the second strike. I got a strike the day after the Cars strike by Paul Simon or Simon and Garfunkel. Okay, 2 different companies, UMG, SME, Sony Music Entertainment. Okay, so I didn't make a video on the second one, but what I did do on both, and what I've done every time I've gotten a block is I've come on here and made a video about it. Okay. The channels that say, that are saying, oh, Rick needs to do this and he's blah, blah, blah. Well, the thing is that every time that I've had a block or a takedown, they've all gotten lifted. And they've gotten lifted because I've made a video and I've pled my case to people that follow my channel. But the other place is on Twitter. Okay. The only things that I post on Twitter are I post each new video that comes out. And then if I have an issue, I will go there and I did it for the Cars video and I did it for this video. I posted the screenshot that I put in my video here of the block. And the thing with Twitter is that all the major labels and publishers have Twitter accounts and they read them. Okay. Sony Music has a Twitter account, right? UMG, it says at UMG. So you put them in the hashtag and then people that comment tag them. For example, Steve Lukather was one of the first people that commented. He commented 3 times. Rick, what did he say here? If I can find it, I'll tell you what he said. It was so nice. He said, I don't know. I should have had this ready here, but let's see here. Steve, where's Luke? And because Toto, one of my biggest what makes a song great is Toto. He says, I don't get it, Rick. We were honored that you would take the time to make the video. I'm your biggest fan. Come on. I'm Steve's biggest fan. For the life of me, I don't get this fight. You're the champion of music, not the devil. It's an effed up business. Believe me, I know, Luke, right? And he tagged UMG and Sony. Well, so did a bunch of other musicians, well-known musicians, tag them. When people of that stature and just anyone that's commenting on Twitter tags these things, they see it. So the first strike was lifted within, I think, 5 hours. 5 hours after I made the video, the copyright strike was gone. Not only was the copyright strike gone, but the video was put back up. Okay, now that video was on trending last night, which is kind of strange. People are like, wait a minute, Rick, this video's on. The video's back up. I don't understand. It's very confusing. So it's, anyways, so that by all of you viewing the video and sharing it with people and the it creates a social environment where what I'm trying to think of what the term Aaron used. Actually, he said social pressure or something on the record. I mean, you have to fight for this stuff, and you don't fight through the. You can do you can go through YouTube and create a claim, and then it can be 30 days before they do anything, or you can just make a video about it and say, this is the problem I have with it. And I think it's outrageous. And I've done that through my entire channel.
Oh, thank you, Rick. You are a champ and a champion here in this kind of situation. Glad that he allows us to share that particular story and encourages people to share it because it's an important story in what we're talking about tonight.
Yep.
And his approach, his approach is kind of what I'm following. I am going to do my appeals and I am going to make contacts where I can there. But the only place I can really tell the story and hope that anybody's listening are you guys. So if anything, this is hopefully educational for you and you don't have to go through it if you just take some of the advice that we're going through here tonight. And Rick's a good source when it comes to this information. He's one of my favorite when it comes to music channels on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
And that idea of hashtagging the ones that you need to contact there, I may add that into our description because I'm hoping they will at least take a listen and consider that I'm a musician too. And look, I'm on a music show. I do a music network with Ange. We want to be able to do this and do it responsibly. And
that's right. But we don't always want to have to do originals all the time, though. You know, having some covers to be able to help for people, like you said. You know, some people want to do covers for different reasons.
I'm as much an advocate for doing originals as I don't want to say I'm advocating doing covers, but I will say that since I started doing them back in 2018, when I started that karaoke thing, I've learned so many songs, and it's helped me to actually be a better writer, to think about like construction and melody, because sometimes you do need to learn a song to actually go and write one.
Yeah. I mean, I had friends who, you know, we wanted to start a band together, and this is back, 30 years ago, whatever it was. And none of us knew much about music at the time. So we were going to be starting a band from scratch. But like my one buddy wanted to play bass, but didn't want to listen to any music except our music. He just wanted to, it's like just our music. I don't want to pollute our music with listening to other people's music. And to me, it's like, I want to hear all the music so that I can, incorporate bits and pieces from this and from that into my style. Like I want to make my style, but I want to take pieces from everything to make my style. So I need to hear all these other things to do it. But he wanted to just have the music come out from inside. And I'm like, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think it'll be better if we listen to music that we like and find elements that we like and make our own music that is like the music that we like.
Yeah, I like the idea of like doing it from the heart. And yeah, sometimes it just comes out. You don't even have to force it. But good music typically is inspired or derived from music that was done before. And not everybody is going to be like so passionate and from the heart that they're just going to keep pumping out originals with no influence or no inspiration. So we need to be realistic about the purpose of covers, and maybe we'll cover that one night. Like, what is the actual purpose of covers? That's a good question.
Yeah. Well, there's also, it's about how you do the covers also, where there's a couple of different covers that I've done with some of the bands that I work with where we do it our way. It's like, we make sure that it's not that we're trying to avoid anything with, copyright or any of that, but it's just, we want to do a song, but we have our way of doing it, or it's a totally different feel than the original, or a different timing, or whatever. Like change the instrumentation. There's something different about it. That's the way that we do it. But it's not like we're trying to pretend that we wrote the song. We're still crediting the original artist. We're still, working with the original structure and everything else. We're just making, taking some artistic license with it to make the song more our version of the song. And there's, people who've covered songs better than the original artist did it, and, plenty of times throughout history. So, there are perfectly legitimate reasons to do good covers.
I wanted to do a night where we covered some videos that were like when the covers actually outshine the originals, because there's a bunch of good videos out there on YouTube, and that would have been a fun topic for a night. But I knew like Ange was gonna definitely like shut that one down. So I said, nah.
Well, when we did what were we doing? There's a Bob Seger song that we were covering that Metallica also did, right? So there's Metallica, like Bob Seger wrote it. Metallica also did the song. We're sitting there covering the song, right? So we're doing the song. And at the end, somebody in the audience is like, "Oh, I've never heard a Metallica song done that way." And you hear somebody in the back going, "That was Bob Seger, sweetheart." I was like, "Yep."
Now we have to turn the page.
Exactly. But that's the thing, is like we did that same song, but we do that with like, it has a much more like almost a reggae feel going on with the bass part and with the drums and everything. So it doesn't sound or feel like the original song at all, but it does have those elements that you can definitely connect it to the original song. But everybody's like, "Oh, I like this, a new treatment," all that.
Well, and like you said, as long as they're giving proper credit, and it's not hard to be responsible when you're covering, and be a little humble. Be a little humble and admit where influences come from, and what you're doing. And as long as you're doing that, you really aren't doing anything wrong or illegal up front. If you do put it on like a YouTube or anything like that, do not use anything from the original recording, because that is a guaranteed you're going to get a warning from YouTube. And it might be worse than a warning if you're using the original recording for the whole thing. Even if you're just grabbing drums using a stem splitter, if you're using original recordings, they've got fingerprints of all of it. So remake your music, reproduce it and remake it.
Some people also listen to things too loudly in their headphones, because we've had talks where like I've had my headphones a little too loud where you can hear something bleeding through my headphones into the mic. If you're listening to the real song while you're recording, some of that could bleed through, and it could be enough to trigger those fingerprints. So
that's a good point.
That's where sometimes you might not even realize, like, I didn't use any part of the original, but it could be just hanging out just under the surface where you don't detect it, but the algorithm finds it and grabs it.
Yeah. Well, Rick, always a pleasure to go here, and this one fits with what I'm dealing with, the advice. I'm gonna do it the Rick Beato way, because I think for me, that's the way I am. I'm not gonna sit there and deal with like what he's dealing with like that, and have to go contact it's too much work, and he already works hard enough with what he does.
Yeah. And for me, it's like I do so many covers just out, doing things like, I'm out playing at an open jam here. I'm out doing, a house band, whatever there. Like, we're doing stuff, and it's just, we do cover songs. Somebody wants to jump up and play guitar, and they just call a song and say, "Hey, do you guys know X, Y, Z, whatever?" And, they can call whatever song they want. If the other people on stage can do it, I'm like, let's do it. Let's figure it out. Like, you can wind me up. You can just start playing something. I can hear the progression. We can go from there. Like, I don't have to necessarily know the song for us to do it. But like last week we did Funeral for a Friend. We did Elton John, and then we go into what did we finish off with? Ozzy. We went into a Crazy Train at the end. So it's like we're kind of all over the map with stuff, in terms of just like doing some things here, some things there. But if anybody took video of us doing it and posted it, then we could end up having problems on their channels, right?
Yep. So I don't know XYZ, but I do know YYT.
YYZ, one of my favorites. Yeah. Always a good one.
So for our next one, had to bring her in for this discussion, especially this video. is a good general advice for this kind of situation. And I did want to contact her when I first saw the details on this strike, and I'm like, has anybody else been struck after 5 years and not in 90 days? And I'm sure there are some use cases out there, and she's probably the one who would hear them, because a lot of the bigger channels, if they are running into something like this, she's a good go-to for getting advice from. And she did cover the Rick Beato situation really well. And I'd recommend, after watching Rick's video, to check out her analysis on it, because it's great counterpoint to the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Always good to hear from Miss Kristen.
Yes. And I will put the other links. She's got 3 good websites. Her Miss Crystal Live, where her music is, her Delgado Entertainment Law, and Top Music Attorney. And that's where we're getting this one from, at Top Music Attorney. And she has been advice on us for all this crap with AI and everything else that's changing in the musical landscape. But for this one, she nails what I wanted to know tonight before I start writing my letters. Her advice is as important to me as Rick's.
Yep. Get that strike removed.
We previously released a video on this channel having to do with the fact that Rick Beato had received his first copyright strike on his channel, and we actually did a reaction talking about how Rick was dealing with it, the fact that it was kind of traumatic for him to go through. And in that video, I broke down kind of what do you do when you get a copyright strike, what are the remedies. Now, that video was like 25 minutes long. I'll link it down below if you want to watch it, but because this is information that every single artist, record label, record business, anyone who has a YouTube channel needs to know, in today's video, I'll be breaking down how to get a copyright strike removed. If you're watching this video, you may have received a copyright strike, and so you're looking for information on what to do. But before you do anything, take a deep breath. I understand that it's kind of traumatic to receive a copyright strike, particularly because if you receive 3 strikes, you can get your channel deleted, and then poof, your entire channel, all your work is gone. And even from personal experience, the first copyright strike that I ever received, and I think it was the only one, but it kind of stands out in my mind because I received it in my first year of law school, and I received a copyright strike from someone who had filed it because he was upset about some credit thing. That, you know, it was kind of, I think I should get this credit even though we decided I was going to get that credit, and he never discussed any of this with me, but to let me know had filed a copyright claim against my video. Now, of course, I went through the steps that I'm going to discuss in this video to get it removed, and I did get it removed, but nonetheless, it didn't feel good. It was scary, and then quite frankly, I was kind of mad about it because you don't file a copyright claim if you don't actually have a copyright claim on someone else's video. So let's get into the actual steps of what you do. Number 1, once you've actually received the notification saying you have a copyright strike, it tells you who filed it. And sometimes it might be a little bit general, it might just be kind of a company's name versus actually saying an individual that you can get into touch with. But what you want to do is you want to then go and find kind of the general contact information for the legal department typically. If you're going to call some general line, you're probably going to get a rep person who doesn't really know anything about kind of the legal stuff. You don't want to talk to them. You actually want to try and get in touch with the legal department. And most often in that actual notice, it would have been provided to you a name as well as an email address. And the reason that all of this matters is because what you need to do is demand a retraction. And you can do this one of 2 ways. You can demand a retraction by actually just emailing or maybe sending a letter yourself to the company or person who filed the copyright claim against you, resulting in the strike. Now, in my example, I knew who the person was because they had actually worked on the production, and so I had the email, and I, private communication, sent an email and said, hey, what's going on? How do we resolve this? Because they can voluntarily decide to withdraw the claim. So basically, this first step is try to informally resolve it. by demanding that retraction. Now, in the Rick Beato video, I kind of made the point that he did this. Now, he's such a nice guy. He did it in his nice way of basically just putting out a YouTube video, posting on Twitter, tagging the company, tagging the artist, and then he was able to get the copyright strike lifted by just simply doing that and getting the support from his general music community. But you can be a little more stern about it, and that's why we say to demand a retraction. Now, like I said, you can do this yourself, but it's definitely a little bit stronger if you can have an attorney do it for you, right? So if you get an attorney, and specifically an entertainment attorney who's familiar with social media, to send a letter and to say, we received your copyright notice, this resulted in a strike, this is gonna harm our client, and basically to lay it out. It's not just saying we demand the retraction, but it's actually citing to law to explain that if this claim was filed improperly or if it was a fake claim, this can result in the other side having to pay you. So having a lawyer kind of explain that in a letter can be pretty powerful. And if and when you aren't able to get the other side to voluntarily pull back that notification, you're gonna file what's called a counter notification. And you do this through the YouTube platform. And the reason we're able to do this through basically YouTube, through these social media platforms, is because of the DMCA, which is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And basically it's kind of an exception that's been built into the Copyright Act. And so it gives us the opportunity to do this in a very inexpensive, almost free way, right? So we just do it through YouTube versus having to go straight to court, hire attorneys, paying tons of money. So DMCA allows us to file a counter notification. With that counter notification, though, you have to understand that you're taking legal action. And it says, before you file, it says, hey, what's the information? Why do you think that, basically this isn't copyright infringement? And you have to click a button that basically says that you avow under penalty of perjury that you're not lying. And that if you have to go to court, you're going to be willing to back up what you say in this counter notification. So it really is a big deal. After you file your counter notification, the other side who originally filed the claim against you has 10 days to then go and take it to federal court. Now, if they don't take it to federal court and then file the paperwork with YouTube saying, hey, we actually filed, then what happens is that YouTube is going to automatically lift the strike, and then you won't have to do anything further. But of course, you run the risk that if you were using someone else's copyrighted material, you got a copyright strike, and then you say, oh no, I was allowed to use it, you weren't, and now you lied in your counter notification, they're taking you to federal court, and that can go very badly for you. So for all these reasons, and I even say, even in the instance that you had, let's say, a contract, you had the right to use whatever copyrighted work is now being claimed as infringed, or maybe it falls under fair use. And we talk about fair use in the video for Rick Beato in a little more detail, but whatever your basis is for saying, no, I have the right to do this, and so you file your counter notification, make sure you're gonna be able to back that up. And look, I always say this, don't take these copyright strikes lightly. Not only because 3 strikes you're out, you get your channel deleted, but someone is alleging that you have violated their copyright. And under copyright law, there are statutory damages. And statutory damages mean that even if someone can't prove that they were actually harmed, right, and that they actually lost money, the law provides that the claimant can still get a certain amount. And then, if they can prove that you did it willfully, you meant to steal their copyright, they can actually get up to $150,000 per instance of copyright infringement. So guys, it's a big deal, but at the end of the day, you don't want to take it lightly. If someone files something against you, fight it. And if you can at all have an attorney to assist you through that process to make sure you have the best chance of having a successful counter notification and getting that strike lifted, get that attorney. It's going to really make the world of difference. And I mentioned it earlier in the video, but don't get any kind of attorney. Don't get a family law attorney. Don't get an accident attorney. Get an entertainment attorney, and specifically someone who is experienced with social media and dealing with DMCA copyright claims. My new album, Dangerous Daughters, is now available on all music platforms. Just search Miss Crystal, and we have a couple music videos from that album, including one called Angels in the Valley, which I will be sure to link at the end of this video. Don't forget to come say hi on all social media platforms. I'm definitely the most active on Instagram, and it's always cool meeting you guys. I'm gonna get out of here, but don't forget to subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss any videos from your new favorite redhead. I'm Miss Crystal. Bye.
Oh, not only are you my favorite redhead, you're my favorite top music attorney.
That's right.
There can only be one, and she is it. I feel a little better.
Yeah.
Thank you, Crystal. It reaffirms some things that I felt, but it's nice to hear that from, you know, somebody who does understand the legal landscape here.
Yeah, for sure.
And her emphasis that if you are going to go like the lawyer route, you don't get some accident lawyer for this kind of situation. It doesn't work that way.
Got to make sure you get the right tool for the job.
No, I think that's solid advice. If anybody out there is going through like what I'm trying to deal with, take those tips. I'm not saying I'm going to go demand. I like how she got me a little fired up there. Like, damn, yes, I am going to demand. I am going to try to do it the Rick nice guy demand approach. And these particular suggestions are going to help me over the next couple of days to do it right when it comes to claim with YouTube and contacting who I need to contact, at least for that third strike. Because that third strike, without it getting removed, there is no Tony Dumont on YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
Cool that I can still be here, but sucks that I can't actually talk in the chat anymore. I have to use this account. And
yeah. See, I
want to be me.
I'm not much for demands. I'm more of I'll do an emphatic request. You know, that works.
It sounds sounds more gentlemanly like. So check out at Top Music Attorney and check out that album she's talking about. It kicks ass. I've listened to all of it, and the videos are incredible. Her video work is as impressive as her channel.
Nice.
So for our last one, Sound Tricks. This one I really wanted to include because I hadn't found anything else out there to help proactively avoid these kinds of situations. It's one thing to find out 5 years later, and now I'm reacting, but it would be nice if I was to continue doing these covers and things like that, if there's something that could help to double check before you go doing a bunch of work and then have to throw it away because YouTube said no. I'd rather not spend the time doing it if I'm going to know ahead of time.
Yeah, for sure.
So at Sound Tricks on YouTube, Freshy channel. Really surprised that copyright strike. Don Henley's lawyers. Oh, I'm going back because I definitely want to know what they say. And you know, the bands that strike, and a great solution is the one that fits tonight's conversation for me. It's the last thing I need to know before I go dealing with what I need to deal with. So bands that copyright strike, and a great solution. Now, it's not a free solution, but at the same time, it seems to work. And if you are going to try to make money from your covers and things like that, it might be worth spending a little money just to make sure that you don't get sued.
Yeah, for sure.
After receiving my first copyright strike for a YouTube cover I did, I desperately needed to find out two things. Number one, which bands do I have to be aware of? And number two, how can I legally continue to cover these great songs? And I found a solution. Let's discuss. So to set the stage, I received a copyright strike for covering End of the Innocents by Don Henley. And his lawyers took down the song and placed a strike, but that whole story in the video up here. because now we're talking about solutions. So my first thought after receiving the strike was, oh my gosh, what other bands could possibly strike my channel? Because within YouTube's strike policy, you only have 3 strikes and then your channel gets taken down. So I went on a little research mission to find out which bands you have to be aware of. Now, of course, it's not the band or the artist that is actually placing these legal claims. It's the record labels, the Sonys, the UMGs, etc., that take care of the copyright. And a very important note, I am all for copyright monetization, and that's what YouTube does nowadays. As soon as you upload a cover song, YouTube recognizes it and makes sure that any money made gets sent straight to the copyright holder. But the following bands have been found to place strikes even though the video was monetized. Let's take a look. So we've got the Cars. Rick Beato was striked by the Cars. We've got the Rolling Stones, Simon and Garfunkel, Fleetwood Mac, Guns N' Roses, Eagles, and of course my favorite, Don Henley, who seems to be leading the charge in this regard. And a little call to action, if you have done a cover song and it was striked, please write it down in the comments and share it so we can all kind of learn from each other. That's great, man. So Rick Beato has done multiple videos on this issue, and he boils it down to, it seems to be the older bands. And newer bands don't really seem to mind because they've realized that this helps their brand awareness, and that eventually leads to more streams, more views, more concerts. So it's a good thing. Now, Rick Beato got his strikes lifted because he's got 2 million plus followers, so he went viral and the record labels lifted the strikes. But what do you do? What do I do when we receive strikes and we don't have a following like Rick Beato? And that brings us to question number 2. How can you cover songs legally? Okay, and just to place this right off the bat, I have no connection, no affiliate, nothing whatsoever with this database. I found it, I love it, I use it. So this is wearethehits.com, short WAT. So WAT has partnerships and deals in place with the record labels, and they basically connect the dots between you as an artist covering a song, the record label or the copyright holder, and then the whole bunch of legal stuff that happens in between. They cover that. So let's take a look at how this works within 3 steps. Step number 1. So before choosing a song, I would then usually go here to the search library and just search the song. So here we'll take a look at a good version. No, not Fricka. Let's look at Africa. And then here I would type in the recording artist, which is Toto. And here we see it is in the database. You can see the composer David Page, Jeff Beccaro, cleared for monetization. I'll get to that. And here, upload a new cover video of this song. Now let's take a look at a bad version. End of, let's just type in that, and then Don Henley. And here you can see no results found. And this would be your first red flag. If you can't find the song in the database, stay away from it. Then we proceed to step number 2. Back to the song here in the example of Africa. Make sure it's the proper song. And then you upload first to We Are The Hits. And this process gives your video a YouTube fingerprint. And just make sure that your title, your description, and your tags are the same as you would be using for your YouTube channel after. And then basically save and proceed to upload. And WAT does whatever it does in the backend to connect the dots, and then sends you an email just informing you that you're good to go, that your song has been cleared. And then finally, step number 3, you proceed to uploading your video to your YouTube channel, and YouTube will recognize the fingerprint and connect that to the WAT partnership. And as a bonus, the song is even cleared for monetization. So it's a double win. You don't just have it legally cleared, you can also have it monetized. So that's how I run things now when I cover a song, and it really eases things up because I don't have to worry about possible strikes. So I hope that gives you a boost for your next cover. Go play music, go play with your band, and if you play in a band, check out my free workshop. That'll help you for sure. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.
Oh, this is a good trick to know. Yeah. And, you know, thank God they don't copyright faces, because he looks like a young Glenn Fry. I know you're not Glenn Fry, but on the picture over here, I was like, damn, he's got the same jaw.
Yeah. Good advice.
And again, you saw the artist that he mentioned there. Little theme here. Surprisingly, Bryan wasn't on that. That will have to addend that list depending on how things go.
Yep. Got to get those strikes out of here.
But I do like the idea of a database and a service if you want to go beyond. Like he said, if you don't find it in there, then
That's a
you're
red
kind
flag.
of your mileage will vary if you don't find it in there.
Yep, for sure. Good to have it clear for monetization, though, and the same thing.
Yeah. For channels that are actually trying to monetize, going this route and getting that YouTube ID set up this way so that you don't have to go through the process of uploading it to YouTube. Possibly they don't pick up on something, it gets published and then comes back when somebody else says takedown.
Yep. Hate that.
Yeah. The only thing that again still concerns me a little is you could have a song that shows up in there and says, okay, you're good to go. And depending on artist rights, like we seen with Bryan Adams when he got his back, if something changes there and now all of a sudden this is no longer an acceptable song because it changed ownership, that's kind of what ended up biting me in the ass with this. And there are plenty of songs that are hitting that 25, 35 year, all that stuff from the 80s and early 90s that is going to start to shift ownerships possibly. And who knows what other songs and other bands might start popping up on this list. Right now, you're just hearing like the classic rock ones. And I can tell you with the Cars, Rick Ocasek, it's the family of now that's doing it for that situation. Jason, you're going to have to be careful because I know you've gone through a couple of Cars phases as I have, and
Let the good times roll.
All of these no bands and songs definitely getting taken down on anything that I've got between BandLab and YouTube. Just don't want to deal with it. And with YouTube, if they do give me back my account, which I'm really hoping they will, I'm going to take the Beato approach and say, hey, YouTube, I talked about this last night. If one of you wants to check it out, then maybe I get 5 hours from now my account back without having to go through any bullshit. But
we shall see.
I feel like I'm too small of a channel. I wish I had 2 million subscribers.
Yeah, me too.
At Soundtricks, thank you very much for that information. That was a good way to conclude our little rabbit hole here. Oh, Glenn, I'm staring at a wall.
There you are. Much better.
Now I'm staring at your cabinets.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, they look good.
Well, thank you. I got the drums here. We'll start breaking those out too. Got some sticks.
Get those congos from Jeff, and you won't need them.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't mind. I could even go with the percussion on the keys if I had to.
Yeah, I don't like doing them in that way.
No. But we also have, if we needed to, we could always get the Axiom and do
that's
pads.
right. You do got one of those. Hell yeah. Get that into the mix.
I do. It's right over there.
Yeah. Hey, you want a sound effects machine? Those pads are perfect for audience laughing, audience clapping.
And otherwise, I only have the little chiclet keys on this guy. And it's got the. They're not bad, but they're not very reactive. When it comes to getting different kinds of sounds out of them.
Yeah, so we're not pulling off any jazz or anything like that.
Nothing overly complicated, no. But we shall see. Yeah, we'll see what we come up with next time.
I wish tonight's topic hadn't been overly complicated. I would have rather just covered the videos and not had to explain anything that happened to me, but I felt it was relative.
Yeah, it's all relevant. All relevant.
At least it's not irrelevant.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm going to spend this weekend going through these motions that they suggested, and hopefully next week I got better news.
Yeah.
We're going to start in this new place that you got. I want to be Tony Dumont in the chat.
Exactly. And I'll see what I can do about a little more decorating. This was kind of a rush thing, get everything in and working and figure stuff out, and then we'll figure out, make it a little nicer for next time, and figure out what's what.
I'm still not used to not seeing the Pink Floyd asses, but
yeah.
I'm sure they will find a way in.
They will. It's just I don't think they'll fit here. They could fit over there, but that wouldn't help you any, right? If they're over there, they would be fine for me, but it's not helping you.
Well, if you wear some reflective glasses, I can see it in your eyes.
Bring the phone up and do a little reflection for you. See that over there? Give that a try.
So we'll be back next week. Hopefully I'll be back as me. Wally on Monday is going to start motivating us, and Ange got the muckery going on. It's an extension of the Wednesdays. We roll into the next week, started off with the muckery, and then from there, Tuesdays, we've been kind of mixing things around, and she'll be back to whip it out on Wednesday because there's a party going on over there.
Oh, yeah. Dropped into the chat last night at the towards the end of the party.
We definitely beat the Brady Bunch a couple of weeks in the last month.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Hollywood Squares time.
Yeah. So we're going to have to change the name, though. We're not going to copyright anything.
Nope. Make it our own thing.
Angie,
to the conference room.
Angie Wood Squares.
Exactly.
We'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
We cover digital audio workstations and music tools. We explore theory, gear, and 82. How to arrange, compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac, and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much rap. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking